Hi, good morning. Dr. Ruth Anderson here with Enlightened World Network. I could not be prouder than to be bringing these ladies and this show to Enlightened World Network. This show is going to be starting a week from Thursday, and it's called The Broader Edge. We're going to talk about that show in just a minute. But I want to bring you all up to date on the work that I've been doing with 500,000 Earth Angels. A year ago, April 8th, in meditation, I was shown the gates of the ethereal realm opening wide and 500,000 earth angels entering our atmosphere. And I was aware of them for maybe about a month. And then they went kind of quiet. And I wondered what that was about. Well, starting March 13th, they have been so visible in so many ways. And they've been working with us here at Enlightened World and Enlightened World Network to work in the world now with the coronavirus, with the many deaths that we've been experiencing, with the illness and the isolation and the anxiety and the fear. And I'm going to be updating Facebook with Enlightened World Network, as well with the 500,000 Earth Angels, as well as Enlightened World Online. So I'll be updating that. But in meditation this morning, they wanted to be part of this interview, because they are part of a new future. And this show, called The Broader Edge, the tagline is Candid Conversations to Envision a New Future. Well, that new future includes the 500,000 Earth Angels. So with that, and they're here. I didn't have to ask hard, they were already here. So we're just going to take a few minutes and meet each of the hosts. And I want to start with Teri Angel. Teri, you have been on so many EWN shows, and we're so pleased to have you in this new format. Teri, what brings you to this place of wanting to do this show with these beautiful women, and what do you bring to the table?
Thank you, Ruth. I am so excited about this show. Well, I love all of the shows, but this one, it has a different flavor to it. And that flavor is cohesion. That's what I feel. And the angels have really just guided me to this. I didn't set out to do a new podcast. Okay. I'm like podcast a lot. But the energy of this is what really draws me. And I think what I bring to this is that excitement from the angels. They just like jump out of me and just really want their message to go out loud and clear of it's time. It's time for us to start envisioning what we want to be like. You know, what is it that we want to create? And this group of ladies, I love you all so much. You're so amazing because you bring intellect, you bring humor, and that's what we are going to be presenting as a united front to really get out there and encourage people, to inspire, to just give people a voice. You know, we're going to be speaking, but we're going to be asking those important questions in our conversations to give people a voice. And that's what the angels have shared with me more than anything lately. It's time for all of us to be heard and seen and acknowledged. And I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled for this show. The Broader Edge, we're all so excited about it. And thank you for asking.
And Teri, what do you bring to the table that your cohorts here do not?
Oh, I don't really see it as something that no one else has, but I have been on a mission for a while now to bring peace on earth, to bring more compassion, to help people to understand that need for respect of each other and seeing each other as equals. And I think that is what's going to be coming out of my mouth. That's what's going to be coming forward as I bring an energy to the table. It's going to be one of compassion and caring and really trying to understand, to get in there and understand each other. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to the heart and coming from a very heart-centered place.
Beautiful, thank you. Liz,
You're
Liz
welcome.
Williams, what about you? What has brought you to this place of putting this show together? And what do you bring to the table?
So it has been kind of an amazing journey where we've come from and how we've gotten here, and it's happened very quickly, which is really exciting. But as we've kind of continued our discussions and talked about what we'd like to create, the thing that's really struck me is we're in such an amazing time right now, and I don't want to see us going back. When we come out of this, I want there to be more recognition that we have the opportunity now to envision and create this new future. And so I believe there need to be individuals who are willing to lead that and have those conversations so that others will recognize that they need to be part of that, and they're invited to be part of that. So that's what I hope that our conversations will do, is inspire others to realize this is not an ending, it's a beginning, and we're all part of that beginning.
And Liz, what about you? What do you bring to the table?
So the work that I do and my passion has always been around social impact. So what are the issues that are out there, and what can we do to find solutions and implement those solutions? And what I see is, I think that's going to be a very important part of this conversation. Our compassion, as Teri was mentioning, our compassion for those who are struggling, for those who are hurting. What can each of us be doing to create a world where everyone has an opportunity to be fully themselves? So how can we address some of those deeper issues now from a different perspective? What paradigm shifts need to happen so that we can, in fact, allow that better world to be created through us?
Thank you. Sheila Cash, what about you?
So what brings me to this point? I would say a lifelong quest for what is consciousness all about? What is humanity about? And what are our capabilities and our capacities? I literally, from the youngest age, have been on this journey in many different forms and quests, leading up to my work around the new human. And the new human is simply about, who are we in this age? So now, who are we in 2020? Very different than we were in 2019, as we're all aware of at this particular time. So, who are we, and who do we need to be? What capacities and skills do we need moving into the future? I spent a number of years mentoring with Barbara Marx Hubbard before she passed away, and this work was coming to the fore with her and continuing on. And so this opportunity arose. These wonderful, amazing, dynamic ladies, and I met and began talking and having conversations that were going really deep, really quickly, very fascinating, and I was drawn to co-create with all of them now.
And Sheila, what in particular do you bring to the table for these conversations?
So I bring a bigger picture perspective. I really see the world from the biggest picture, from those biggest questions down. And I'm also very future oriented. So I'm about how to create from the future, how to pull in, what do we need to look at? Where are those trajectories that we can pull from? And that's what I'll be bringing to the table.
Beautiful. Thank you. Mira Rubin, one of our EWN hosts with a show called The Core Connection. Mira, tell us about you. How did you come to this place, and what are you bringing special to this show?
This is really the embodiment of a dream that I've had for several years, when I used to have these very deep, very, very profound and rich conversations with a dear friend about the nature of being, the nature of consciousness, what we're doing here on the planet. Similar, Sheila, to the big questions that you enjoy so much. That's where I get my greatest thrill, actually, is in exploration of consciousness. So when I was graced to connect with these other wonderful ladies and we started having these beautiful, deep conversations, I thought, oh, let's share this with the world. So I am so grateful for playmates. I think a lot of us through our lives, I'm going to assume that this is so for you too, felt very alone. With these questions, there were not a lot of people to play with in this playground. And I think there are more and more people now. And I am just so delighted to have people to play with in this way.
And Mira, what do you bring special to this show?
Well, there are a couple things. One is my connection to nature. I have a podcast called Sustainability Now, and I am a very big advocate for love of our planet and each other in a way that creates a new future. And I also have a passion for exploring consciousness with sort of an abandon to that exploration, maybe a courageous joy of exploration. And I'm not afraid to challenge the existing paradigms. So maybe what I bring to this is the provocateur, to say, well, but what about, how about this other path?
That's perfect. And I was reminded while you were talking, each one of you is so amazing in your own right. Conversations with each one of you separately can be life-changing, and I've experienced that. So to have the four of you come here together and join in this program and each sharing your own perspective is so golden. It's so rich with potential and possibility, and I'm so pleased to see the work that you're doing to share this with so many other people. So thank you for doing that. So when you talk about envisioning a new future, I would like to just hear you all share a little bit about what does that mean? I know some of our viewers are going into this reality white-knuckled, and others are going in with full abandon, just saying, bring it on, whatever it is. This is why I'm here. Yeah. This is what I've been trained for in my spiritual walk. Bring it on, and I want to be at the forefront. So what does this new future mean to you all?
One of the things that's come up for me is to, as part of this new future, to embrace the not knowing, to embrace the uncertainty, because as we allow that uncertainty, which is what our conversations, I think, are going to expose or discuss in great degree, by embracing that uncertainty, what emerges is inspiration. And I see the potential, what we all represent is conversations moved by the soul and the heart rather than simply the mind. So I see that as a pathway to the new future.
And I would add to that, Mira. I think it would be really amazing for more individuals on our planet at this time to recognize that their soul did come here with a unique purpose. Yes. And to connect more deeply with that individual soul and ask those questions, why now, why me? And then move from that. Have the trust and the faith and the confidence to move from there. And I'm hoping that we can inspire that trust, that faith, that confidence.
I would like to inspire a new relationship with change for our species. We have been so conditioned over the centuries and over the millennia, our humanity, that we are in a place now where it's time for change and adaptability and having a whole new relationship with that. In a new way now more than ever before. So I feel that, life seeks change. Change is life. We can't stagnate or life will perish. So that's where releasing the old conditioning and creating from the future comes into play now, especially now more than ever before.
Absolutely. And it's all about surrendering those old belief patterns, those old habits that didn't work. And let's create what does work. Let's create a world that's more compassionate to live in, a world without all of the wars and the negative things that we look at each other, comparisons, competition. And yeah, there's going to be competition. That's the way of life, pretty much. But the comparisons, I think, is what we're wanting to just get away from, so that we don't have all of that negativity surrounding our world anymore, and just see ourselves as part of the oneness.
If I can just dovetail on that, I think what we're pretty aligned in is moving from a paradigm of separation to a paradigm of oneness, and a paradigm of fear to a paradigm of trust, and looking at the world through the lens of those filters, and that in and of itself will be transformative.
One of the ladies I was speaking with yesterday, Diane Allison Beiersdorfer, said, love is the new currency.
That's
and
beautiful.
I'm so hearing that in what you are talking about when you talk about a new human. Great. Thank you, ladies. Now, each of you stand alone as well as in this group. So, Teri, starting with you, if folks want to learn more about you and your work, how do they do that?
You can find me on Facebook. I'm everywhere on Facebook. It's Teri Angel, and you'll also see Miller, because that is my legal last name, but I am Teri Angel. If you want to find me on other social media, I'm Gratitude Girl on Instagram and Twitter and all of that. My website is angelspeakers.com, and I'd love for you to go there, and there's a contact form that will go directly to my email. Thank you for asking, Ruth.
Perfect. Liz?
So I have a company called Awe Partners. It's a social impact advisory organization, and you can find me at www.awepartners.com.
Perfect. Sheila?
And I have a website. My home website is SheilaCash.com. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook group called Epigenetics and the New Human. And of course, I'm on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Thank you. And Mira?
I have a website called yourcoreconnection.com, and that talks about my coaching practice. And you can find me on Facebook at Mira Rubin Rise. And if you want to get all my information, including access to Sustainability Now, you can text my name, Mira, M-I-R-A, to the phone number 64600, and you'll get a link to my digital business card that'll give you all my info.
Thank you. Ladies, thank you so much. And I cannot wait for your debut show, which is next Thursday on Enlightened World Network at Facebook and on YouTube. So be watching Enlightened World Network for information on the show coming up, and so excited to be supporting you all in these efforts. So with that, we say to our friends, thank you for being here with us. Take good care of yourself. God bless.
Ruth, thank you so much.
Thanks, Ruth.